What's up, guys? I'm Isaac here at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson with your new bike of the week, this 2024 Harley-Davidson Road King Special in the gorgeous white onyx pearl with the black trim. So if you want a 2024 Harley-Davidson touring bike, but you really want, you're not a huge fan of the big fairings, you're not a huge fan of, a lot of tech, you really like a lot more stripped down cruiser styling, but you really want a lot of benefits that you get from a Harley-Davidson touring bike. You want the bigger tank, you want more luggage room, and you really want something that's going to be comfortable and rock solid for crushing mile after mile. If that person sounds like you, then the Road King might just be what you're looking for. So we've seen the Road King change a lot over the past few years. We saw the Road King Classic. It looked almost more like a soft tail with hard-ish leather bags, and it looked pretty good. It had a lot of good chrome on it. Then there was also the Road King Specials, and the way they stood out was they had blacked out trim, and the saddlebags actually looked a little more cuffed. Over the past few years that the Road King Special's been on the Milwaukee 8 platform, hasn't really seen a whole lot of changes. Maybe minor little things here or there internally, but so far as the big aesthetics, not a whole lot's changed on this bike. You can see on this one even, it's still rocking old school halogen bulbs here on the smoked signals. And you do have an LED headlight, but it's still old school. It's still old school, ready to rock and around. Not too much fancy stuff going on here. It's still just the oil-cooled 114 Milwaukee 8. This one's not going to be a 117. This one's not going to have liquid-cooled heads. It's oil and air-cooled Milwaukee 8 motor, ready to rock and roll. So like I said, if you're looking for a very simple, stripped-down touring bike, ready to go rock and roll, this is a fantastic bike. It's light enough that it's really easy to go whip around town during the summertime, especially a day like some of the weather we've been having in Raleigh is just absolutely gorgeous. You don't want to be behind a fairing on a day like today. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the features that are on this bike that you might be interested in, and what's going to make it such a good touring bike, and why it's such a good touring bike. So you have a full-length front fender. Again, we're going for full fenders here, but what that full-length fender is going to do is help protect the rest of the bike a little bit from road debris, road spray, and rocks being kicked up there a little bit on that cooler. And you do have dual rotors, so it's still a pretty big bike, but very easy to stop still. Lots of great braking on this bike. It is a gorgeous color too, on this white onyx pearl, if I'm saying that right. Someone correct me. Especially you see here in the light, just where the sunlight just hits it perfectly, and just the flake all through it. It's not too much flake. It's no hard candy custom, but you can tell it's there for sure. It's good. I like it. You do have the older rims that we saw in most of the specials from last year. This one does have the RDRS system on it, so it has the traction control. It has the ABS and some of the other added features along with that suite. It does have LED lighting, so it is going to be nice and bright on the highway. I'll show you these turn signals here now. Orange halogen bulb still inside that smoked lens. It does have the low profile engine guard, so again, like most riders say, there's riders who have dropped a bike and those riders who probably will drop a bike. So in the event that this bike eventually gets tipped over when you're crossing state to state, you do have that low profile engine guard, and you can get a vehicle protection kit there for the rear of the bike as well for the saddlebag guards. You got the floorboards, lots of room to move your feet around. You're going to want to stretch out a little bit on those trips. It's a very neutral riding position. I'll just go ahead and show you that right now. So just how this is nice and easy right here. I could just rock this thing all day. I'll show you. I'm easily able to flat foot this bike, and I've got plenty of room to go ride this thing all day. It looks like it's gonna be pretty easy if you want to do a T-bar setup or another bar setup. That doesn't look like it's gonna be very hard to do, and it looks like you might have enough extra room on these cables here to go up a little bit higher too if you wanted to. So that's really nice. I love a center mounted tank dash. I think it's just as classy as it gets right there. So it's actually an analog fuel gauge here on the left side, which it's been for a long time. So it's really nice that you still have that symmetry on this tank. And with a 6-gallon tank, you're going to be able to stretch out that distance between gas stations pretty well. And as comfortable as this bike is, you're going to want to. So I'm going to hop off this thing before I try to go ride it somewhere. It does have you can still lock the bars, so you just turn the bars all the way to the left, and you can put the key right here in the neck. Now, again, very simple controls. You know, there's no screen to navigate, so you really don't need that much extra on it. So I mean, you've got your ignition switch, which I'll circle back to that. You know, your left-right turn signals, high-low beam, and then you can cycle through the information on this gauge right here. It is keyless entry. It does have the key fob, so you know, not remote. So I can start the bike without putting a physical key in anywhere. So it does have that proximity security key. But like on the Softails, where you just flip the switch up here on the right and you can fire the bike right up, you do still have to turn this ignition switch in the center of the tank. So turn that to the right thing, which if you are coming off a Softail going onto this bike, that is one thing to keep in mind. You might forget to cut that off. So maybe keep the jump pack with you a couple times, or at least have a buddy there to make sure he reminds you to cut that off before you get off your bike. So you can lock that though if you want. So you can see the miles on the bike. So this one has the 10 miles from the service test ride. So we've got the trip A, trip B, fuel range, 97 miles. We're just under half a tank. We've got our clock, and then we have our gear and our RPM just below that as well. This one also has the tire pressure monitor too, so which is a really great feature, which a lot of folks don't really expect when you don't have a screen. So I can see my front tire is rocking 36 PSI, my rear tire is rocking 41 PSI. So I can check those without even getting on the ground. And then we're back to the odometer. So now I've got my little gauges right down here, so I can see my turn signals, low oil, stuff like that. So I'll cut that off. Yeah, so to start it, I would, you know, do this switch on the right, do my ignition switch, or at least the proper MSF would be the ignition switch, and then the engine cutoff switch further down the line, and then I can hit the starter. But you do have to make sure you have both those turned. There's a lot of great seat options for this. Some people love them, some people hate them, but they're cozy, they're a good start. And this one does have the slit here, so that way you can go ahead and put a backrest too for you. That makes it pretty easy. So if you want a backrest or be even more comfortable, you can rock on down the road. And rocking you on down the road, it's going to be this 114 Milwaukee 8 motor. So that's going to be a great option. It's low revving, so you're going to be staying lower RPMs for most of the touring you're going to be doing down the highway. So it's going to make it a great touring machine, but still Milwaukee 8, so it likes to run up when you tell it to. So it's going to be a great bike to really push when you want to down the road. And it's got this exposed air cleaner, which it does have a little sock to go over if you get caught, or if you know you're getting caught in a rainstorm or any sort of other inclement weather. But in the meantime, you can leave that off and let her breathe a little bit more. It is 114 going into a 6-speed transmission, so you got all the gears you need right there. Then a 2-to-1 to 2 exhaust here with both exhaust pipes going out symmetrically on the back end of the bike. Ready for a passenger here. You got your passenger seat, your passenger pegs there. And on new touring bikes here at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, we do like to go ahead and put the mounting hardware, so it's a little bit easier for you to go ahead and put a backrest on, or tour pack if you desire. So all you'd have to do is get your one, and then you can put your backrest on here, and that way your passenger is going to feel a little bit more comfortable on the back of your bike. So moving on back, then you do have plenty of great storage on this bike, and it is all locking storage, so you ride to work, you drop your laptop bag in here, close it up, lock it up, and you're good to go. Moving on back, you do only have those 2 brake lights on the rear fender, and they are both halogen bulbs. I've seen a lot of kits people have been doing where they've been deleting those and putting filler lights in between the bags. This looks pretty clean. But then you do have extra brake lights in the bottom part of the rear fender here on the little curtain down there. So if you really want a Great American Touring bike, but you don't want many bells and whistles, you want it pretty basic, but some of the nicer added features, then this is going to be a great option for you. This is the 2024 Harley-Davidson Road King Special. Really interested to see what's in store for the future of this line, with all the major updates made on the Grand American Touring line with the Road Glide and Street Glide, and not a whole lot changed on this bike or the Road Glider Ultra for this year. It's going to be interesting to see what the future holds for this bike. But we hope the future has you coming here to see us here at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson sometime soon. So in the meantime, ride safe, and we'll see you.